there, my name's Nicole and welcome to my kitchen. Tonight I have got a great appetizer for you. We are making Oysters Rockefeller. Now Oysters Rockefeller are going to be shucked oysters on the half shell, and we're going to fill them with a creamy mixture of Philadelphia cream cheese, bacon, spinach, and parmesan cheese. Top them with some buttery breadcrumbs, bake them in the oven for just a few minutes, and you have got a delicious, rich and filling appetizer. So let's get started. We are going to cook our spinach. So I have a cup of fresh washed spinach here, and we're just going to saute this down with 2 cloves of chopped garlic and a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon. So saute this down. This will only take a minute, and then we are going to mix in our Philly cream cheese. I have about 4 ounces of cream cheese here that's softened and cubed. We're going to mix this in once our spinach is wilted. So we've sauteed our spinach, and now we've melted down our 4 ounces of cream cheese. Time to add our bacon. So I have 4 slices of bacon that I've cooked until crispy, and I've just chopped them up really fine. We're going to mix that in. And then finally, we're going to add a ½ cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. And just mix this really quick and take it off the heat. We don't want the cheese to burn, we just want this nice creamy mixture to put right on top of our oysters. So now that we've finished our filling, now we're going to make our delicious crunchy topping. So I have seasoned breadcrumbs here, and I have a 1/4 cup. We're going to pour that right into a bowl. Then I have a 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan. And now I have ½ a stick of butter, melted. We're just going to pour that right in, and then we're going to mix this together, and we're going to sprinkle this right on top of all our plump and juicy oysters. Perfect. So now it's time to get our oysters. I wanted to show y'all what an oyster looks like, because some of you may have never had an oyster. And you may just think of an oyster as something raw and slimy, but it's really juicy and delicious. And this is what a oyster looks like. This is a good sized juicy oyster. And all I've done is, when I bought them from the seafood market, I asked them to go ahead and shuck them for me, but leave them on the half shell. So that's what they've done, and that means they cut open the shell of the oyster and discarded the other shell, because that can be kind of dangerous to use in a sharp knife. So all I'm doing is I'm going to gently cut out the oyster that's still in the shell. I'm going to rinse out the shells, so you can see them here how they're nice and cleaned out. And then we're going to put the oysters right back in the shell and top it with our delicious cream cheese mixture. So that's what we're going to get started on. I have lined my baking pan with aluminum foil. This way we can kind of crunch up that aluminum foil and prop up our oyster shells so they don't fall over and all the goodness doesn't leak right out of them. Alright, so let's preheat our oven to 425, and we're going to start stuffing our oysters. Check this out. This is what our Oysters Rockefeller is going to look like right before we put it in the oven. So let me show you how we did that. So I have my creamy stuffing over here. We're going to take a heaping spoonful of that, put that right on top of our oyster in the shell. Perfect. Now we're going to top that. Let me turn a light on here so we can see a little bit better. Now we're going to top that with our breadcrumb and cheese mixture. So just sprinkle that right on top. This is going to get nice and golden and crispy in the oven. So I'm going to finish stuffing these oysters. Oops, don't let it fall out. Make sure they're propped up with the aluminum foil so that they're not going to tip over and we're not going to lose all that goodness. So I'm going to finish stuffing these, and then we're going to put them in the oven at 425 for about 8 to 10 minutes, just until they're nice golden brown on top and that cheese is nice and bubbly. And then we're going to have a delicious appetizer. Here we are. Here's our delicious Oysters Rockefeller, fresh out of the oven. And we have some lemon slices just to squeeze right on top. This is going to be the ultimate start to a delicious dinner. I know I'm going to love it, and you will too. Try making Oysters Rockefeller at home, and it's going to be one of your favorite appetizers. My name's Nicole, and I'll see you next time.